Welcome to part 19 of the book of Isaiah, the prophet, May the 30th, 2024 by man's calendar. And we are going to get on back into this word. We've been talking about turning to familiar spirits for help. And I would like to show you how some of you turn to familiar spirits for help instead of turning to the Lord. I'm trying to demonstrate to you how some of you go to familiar spirits rather than going to the Lord for healing. I hope you're noticing what's on your screen. Now, I do not use pharmakia myself. And it took me a moment to even find anything to use as an example. I don't even use these things you see. I just hadn't disposed of them. I never go to them. I never think of them. What I think of is going to the Lord first. That's what I think of, is going to the Lord first. And to me, once I've gone to the Lord, there's no need to go anywhere else. What would be the purpose? God, who created this temple, certainly can heal it. And if He won't, those things are not going to. Those are false cures. They're familiar spirits, basically. Divination, witchcraft, created for us to go to instead of coming to the Lord. Just something I felt to show. But anyways, let's get on back into this word. Isaiah 8, verse 20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. Did you hear that? It's talking about those familiars. Let's put those two verses together now. 19 and 20. And when they shall say unto you, seek unto them that have familiar spirits, and unto wizards that peep, and that mutter, should not a people seek unto their God? Which is what I've been saying, instead of going to familiar spirits. Shouldn't you seek God for healing instead of going elsewhere? For the living to the dead? That's a question. To the law and to the testimony. If they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. Is there light in you? And they shall pass through it, hardly be stead and hungry. And it shall come to pass that when they shall be hungry, they shall fret themselves and curse their king and their God. and look upward. Do you curse God because you don't get the things that you want to have? Because you're hungry for something that you really want? Now, this can be in reference to things besides food. Because you're desirous of things that you don't get. Do you curse God? And don't lie and say that you don't. Many of you have. God has already told me. You best be getting that one under the blood, and I recommend baptism. I don't care if you've been down 17 times already. I recommend you go back and do it right this time. Because the wrath is about to come upon you. You don't curse God for junk of this world or even food, because he will feed you manna if you were starving to death, if you were his. Otherwise, you are devils and the wrath is for you. Sickens me how people act toward the Lord after all he has done for you. And they shall look onto the earth, and behold, trouble and darkness, dimness of anguish. And they shall be driven to darkness. Does that look like something that's been going on? I certainly hope you see it, because if you don't, you're blind. Your blinders are on and you're not the Lord's. Chapter 9. Nevertheless, the dimness shall not be such as was in her vexation, when at the first he lightly afflicted the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali. I'll get it out right here in a minute. And afterward did more generously afflict her by the way of the sea, beyond Jordan, in Galilee of the nations. The people that walked in the darkness have seen a great light. They that dwell in the land of the shadow of death. Bet y'all thought that Psalms 23 was the only place that stated something like that, huh? You'd have known if you'd been reading the Word. The people that walked in darkness have seen a great light. They that dwell in the land of the shadow of death, upon them hath the light shined. That would be Psalms 23 that I'm in reference to at this particular moment, you know. Thou hast multiplied the nation and not increased the joy. Thy joy before having some issues here. Thy joy before the according to the joy in harvest, and as men rejoice when they divide the spoil. See, that's your problem. You want to rejoice when you're being blessed abundantly and when you have a great harvest. But not evermore in the Lord like you're supposed to. For thou hast broken the yoke of his burden and the staff of his shoulder, the rod of his oppressor, as in the day of Midian. Any of y'all remember the days of Midian? That great battle with Midian? I guess not. You probably haven't been reading. I'm not going to get into that right now. I'm just going to go with what the word is saying right here. I don't want to get off on a sidetrack because I don't have much time because I got work again this morning. And I don't have much time and I want to get through as much of this as possible. So I don't want to get sidetracked talking about these other things. For every battle of the war, rear is with confused every battle of the warrior is confused. Whoo, Lord, my mind is not working this morning. For every battle of the warrior is confused with noise, and the garment rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. For unto us a child is born. Sorry. I get really emotional about this stuff. For unto us a child is born, and unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. See, this is what Isaiah prophesied, and they knew he was coming, and they sought, because they didn't want to give up what they had. So they sought to kill the Lord. He came here for us, and we destroyed him. He came here to love us, to be with us, and we shut him out. And we continue to every day. We push him out of more and more stuff every day. Mashanto karabasatu alalaba. Mishato karamaha ramaha. Rebasatu kohramaha. Mihramaha ramaha. Rebasatu karamaha. Mesitu karamaha. Misitu korabasatu telalabarum. Mine angels, it is time to stand. It is time to rise. It is time to come forth and prepare the way to go upon high. Neshatu karamaharabasatu. Meshahrabaharbaha. God hath appointed this time as He appointed many times throughout history of man. God Himself hath appointed this time. I'll see you in the next part.